Welcome to a new episode of Ask the Attorney. My name is Vivian Bastawros. I have been an attorney for over 20 years in New York, New Jersey, and I have a law office in Sarasota, Florida. Today I'm going to talk to you about the crime of shoplifting. It is a crime of dishonesty, and I want you to remember that. Now, I know what you're thinking. I'm an honest person. I don't steal. I don't need to listen to this. Well, before you tune me out, I'd like to tell you a story about my friend Jane. Jane's not her real name, by the way. My friend Jane and I grew up in New York together. She was a good girl like you guys. She was a Sunday school teacher. She served in the church. She went on retreats. And she was also a genius. She came from a low economic family. And because she was so smart, was able to get a full scholarship for college. And what Jane wanted to be was a doctor. And Jane did get into medical school and got really good financial aid. What happened to Jane is that at the end of her first year of medical school, she started interviewing for internships at hospitals. And before she could go on her first interview, Jane had to go and get a brand new business suit to look professional. Now remember, Jane is on a limited income. She collected her $150 and took herself off to the mall and one of the big shopping stores there. They were having a sale on business suits and dresses, 50% off sale, and she tried on many suits and she found the perfect suit for her. As she was walking to the cash register, Jane realized that the suit she was buying was not on sale. It did not have that pink 50% off sticker. So what Jane did is take the sticker, the 50% off sticker of another dress, and put it on the suit that she wanted to buy. Act of dishonesty, but is it illegal? Let's ask you.
I think that it's illegal because you're basically stealing the company, because that's not what the company wants you to pay for the merchandise. So that would be considered stealing.
I think that is very illegal. You're stealing. You're not paying the full price for the item, so it is stealing.
It's obviously illegal because you get something that is not what it's supposed to be.
I think if you actually change it just for your own benefit, it should be illegal, because everyone is working hard for the same goal to purchase a product that you're buying. Therefore, if you want to get it for a lesser price, I think you should work hard for your goal and not cheat to get to what you want.
I think it is legal, although it's not fair for the people that are buying anything. This is just my opinion. I think it is legal.
Changing the sales tags on a purchase is an illegal, dishonest act of shoplifting for which you can be arrested. The definition of shoplifting is not only the taking and carrying away of someone else's property, it's also the changing of price tags, transferring something from one place to another, removing a shopping cart, and all with the intent of depriving someone of that item. So what Jane did was shoplifting, an act of dishonesty, and an illegal crime for which Jane had to pay the price. In fact, after making that purchase, Jane tried to walk out of the store and security stopped her, detained her, and called the police. The police came and gave her a bench warrant. And to make a long story short, Jane ended up pleading to a lesser charge and serving community time, and she was on probation. But that's not the end of it. You might think she's paid the price for the crime, but shoplifting is a crime of dishonesty. And because shoplifting is a crime of dishonesty, it goes on your record forever. No one's going to know that Jane was trying to save $100. No one's going to know it was a dress at a department store that she needed for an interview. They're only going to know that Jane committed a crime of dishonesty, and it can never be removed from her record. Now, the problem with crimes of dishonesty and the reason they are so bad is because one dishonesty leads to another dishonesty and another dishonesty. So what did Jane do? For the next 3 to 4 years, every time Jane filled out an application for a job or an application for a scholarship, she left the question, have you ever been arrested or convicted of a crime? She left it blank. She didn't know what to say. An act of dishonesty. All because she wanted 50% off a dress. Now, it came time for Jane to become a doctor, and Jane had to apply to take the board exam. Similar to when I had to apply to take the bar exam, it's not an automatic. You don't just become a doctor because you take an exam. You have to earn the right to even sit for that exam. So even though she went to college, even though she completed medical school, she still had to apply for permission to take the board. You have to apply for permission to become a lawyer. You have to apply for permission to become a real estate agent. You have to apply for a certificate to be a teacher or a nurse. And part of that application process is a background check. And you have to swear, notarized statement of everything you're saying is true. And so, here's Jane again. It's time to answer the question, have you ever been arrested for a crime? Have you ever been convicted of a crime? No one asked what the crime was. Nobody asked how much you stole. Just, have you ever made an act of dishonesty that would deprive you of the right to be a doctor? And that's when Jane decided to call a lawyer. It was too late, Jane. You have to be honest in your application because they're going to find out that you are dishonest because they're going to do a background check. And if you swear in front of a notary that you've never been arrested and you have, you're going to be in more trouble. One act of dishonesty leads to another act of dishonesty. The reason they care is because nobody wants a dishonest accountant, nobody wants a dishonest lawyer, and nobody wants a dishonest doctor taking care of their child. So it's very important. So what Jane had to do is mark off yes, and then leave it in the hands of the board examiners whether they'll even allow her to take the board exam. I wish I can tell you at this point how things turned out for Jane, but Jane's story kept going, and we're going to know what happened to Jane in our DUI episode. What I want to tell you today are the penalties for shoplifting. There are civil penalties and there are criminal penalties. In criminal law, there are two types of violations. There are misdemeanors and there are felonies. Misdemeanors only allow up to 1 year in jail. Jail is local. You can only go to jail if you're there a year or less. Misdemeanor, jail, 1 year or less. On the other hand, we have felonies. Felonies are for crimes for which the punishment is over 1 year in prison. Prisons are usually outside of the state where you live, away from your home where people can't visit you, and they are especially created and built for long-term incarceration. The higher the degree, the harsher the penalty. So let's look at shoplifting, an example for Florida. What Jane did was pled down, shoplifting under $100. A misdemeanor in the second degree, she can get up to 60 days in jail. Now, it was her first offense, so she ended up getting community service and probation. How about if it was her second offense? Misdemeanor in the first degree and up to 1 year in jail. And this can go on. The more value of the property that you're shoplifting, the harsher the penalties. But more important, I want to talk to you about the civil penalties that you might not even realize what could happen to you if you are caught shoplifting. Recently, a couple of high school students walked into the local Walmart, and these are A students, One had a full scholarship to college and one was waiting to hear. And they stole a couple of little lipsticks, and you know what? They did it for fun. They threw it in their purses and they got caught and they got arrested. So, yes, it probably didn't go on their record because they were juveniles. However, they lost the college scholarship. In Florida, bright futures, gone. And the store can then sue them for 3 times the cost of the items that they stole. They sue their parents. This can carry on and on and on and on and ruin their lives. And people don't think about that. And you know why? Because it's an act of dishonesty. It's not like you were littering and threw your gum on the floor. You lied. And for the rest of your life, that will damage your reputation. It will always be on your record, it will always be known, and it will prevent you from getting where you want to go in life. So the next time you think you're doing a harmless little act of taking something from a multi-million-dollar store that they're not going to miss, remember, it's not about the store, it's not even about the value of the item. It's about the fact that you committed an act of dishonesty. And that is your reputation, and you'll never get it back. So don't do it. Thank you.